stays muted. And then there will be an opportunity at the end of the call to ask questions, go over any rules, look at schedules and divisions, things like that to kind of discuss. So I'm going to right now just mute everyone who is there. Where are we at? Okay. Thanks for hopping on. First, before we even get started, I want to say a big thank you to all of you for putting in the time and effort that goes along with coaching our athletes. This is an opportunity for our athletes that at the state, we don't get a ton of experience one-on-one with athletes, but we're all doing it for those athletes that we see, and you guys do. And we can't put on an event. We can't put on successful games without you guys for putting in scores to your county coordinators, to working with your athletes to improve. So this is not just a small time commitment and a little effort. You guys put in way too much, honestly, and so much more for our athletes. So a big thank you just for working with your county coordinators to get information to me, whether it was communication with me directly, if you had a question or on a certain team. Just a big thank you for all that you do for us to help run this successfully. And I hope that it's a good start and a good finish to your bocce season as you go forward. If you don't know me, I am Savannah Vaughn. I oversee bocce at our state office. I am the one that's probably been the main communicator with your county coordinators regarding qualifying scores. If you were on the preseason meeting, that was me as well. We do have two members of our management team on the call tonight. Rachel McFadden is our team lead. She's been our team lead for quite some time. If you know anything about my history, I was an intern, and this is where I started with, which was bocce. And Rachel was actually on the team and led the team when I was an intern. So technically, she's got way more qualifications than I do. So big thanks for Rachel for continuing to be a part of the team and helping me lead bocce. Sam and Mackenzie, they are returning members. They're the ones in the pictures right there with the high five line. And I just want to make sure, can everybody hear me before I thumbs up? Yeah, okay. But Mackenzie and Sam are returning members of the team, and they've been on it for quite some time. Rebecca is a new addition. She was a court captain the past couple of years, and we've now bumped her up to our management team with with Amanda and Joshua, who used to be on the team. They actually moved to Arizona. So we're sad to see them go, but happy to have Rebecca on the team. And then Zach is our intern at the state office. He will be there throughout the weekend to help assist the rest of the team members. He actually helped develop some of the schedules. We're super excited to have Zach on the team, especially because he's been a part of like just the overall scheduling. So I'm excited for him to see it all come to fruition. The other people that you'll see on the venue site is our athletic trainers. So those are the people who you'll go to for any questions with medical. Usually they hang out around the med team, or the med team or the management team tent. Sometimes they're walking between the courses. So in the event that you have a medical or an emergency, you can walk to the management team and see if they're there, or our management team members will get a hold of our athletic trainers. We're also not too far from the athletic training room, which is another plus. So if anything does happen, we've got some coverage close and far. Like I said, I'm Savannah. My email is right there. It's svaughnn@sondiana.org. If you have any communication or need any communication before summer games, that's who you can reach out to. That's the email that you can reach me at. Going into our dates and location, obviously you guys should know all of this, but if you don't, June 12th and 14th, big dates. We'll be at Indiana State University. More importantly, it'll be Marks Field, which is on the corner of 4th and Chestnut, right outside the CHHS building, which is where Healthy Athletes is. Obviously, very excited. This is one thing I'll kind of just say. We play in the grass. Every year I ask them to mow it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's alive, sometimes it's dead. It really kind of depends on what we get, what kind of weather that we do. Those courts go down on Thursday, and we have put in a request for it to be mowed Thursday morning, Wednesday afternoon or Thursday morning. So with the hope of having fresh cut grass that looks really good for us and is a good throwing field. We'll take what we can get. They do have sprinklers out there now too, so I feel like it's a fast growing one. So hopefully it gives us some good playing ground out there. This is text alerts. So anything if you want general information, details throughout the weekend, you can text summer 26 to 84483. This is just general information. Your HODs have another text for any other information directly referring to them that they can disseminate down the group. But this one is overall just any extra updates that we can provide, whether it's weather, emergency action that we need to do, or any other details regarding activities that are happening throughout the weekend. 84483 is the number, and you're going to text summer 26. And I'm going to leave it up there just for a little bit longer, and I'm going to check the chat while we're doing it just in case any questions came up. And also a quick reminder while you're in here, if you haven't already and you just joined, put your first and last name and the county that you're with in the chat if you can. Okay, I am going to move on. I can always follow up with that if anybody needs any more information. The information guide is going to go live next week. It's going to have overall schedules, and by overall schedules for everyone, I am going to say it's going to be general schedule for Bocce. Our actual schedules are live right now on our website under Bocce. At the moment, what is in the information guide is just the overall view, your session assignments. It doesn't get too in-depth because it's a little too much to put in the information guide. You'll also find some bus routes, parking, and any other activities that are happening throughout that weekend that your delegation might be a part of, things you can take your athletes to while they're not competing. That's all in the information guide. Very big document that you can. So once you get it, you can kind of take what you need and leave what you don't. All right, we're going to start to now get in a little bit more of the schedule specific for Bocce that weekend. The run of events specifically are Friday afternoon and Saturday morning are our session A. So what happens in Bocce is you are only playing in one of the two sessions. You're either playing in session A and you're off for session B, or you're playing for session B and you're off on session A. That session A, like I said, is Friday afternoon when you first get there, and then Saturday morning. The session B is Saturday afternoon and then Sunday morning for that one. Another quick thing just to note for awards, they will happen after the second round games, typically. The one that makes it a little bit more difficult is if you're in a 3-team bracket, or 3-team division per se. Awards will typically be after the third game, depending on what the record is. So I go a little bit further into this later on, so I'm not going to get too far into it. Just knowing that typically you're going to wait for your second game. You're going to be able to get your awards. If you're in that 3-team bracket, it's a possibility they might tell you, hey, we got to wait a little bit longer because we don't have enough information to determine where you place yet. Overall, I just ask, once you get done at your courts, you're going to start heading towards awards. We still have to get those score sheets from the courts, get them processed at the management team, and then have a runner to awards. In the meantime, we have multiple different courts finishing, so we're going to have multiple results happening, and then multiple results happening and being run to our awards. So I just ask that you are patient and make sure that and to communicate with your athletes to continue to be patient. Everybody wants their time at those placards and by the flags to get their awards. So just please practice patience as much as you can, and also just kind of try to enforce that with your athletes to make a positive games. All right, this going into divisioning and sessions. This is just a top of the meeting reminder. Divisioning cannot be protested. I division based off of the qualifying scores you submit. And once we division them into session, I just run it by the event, run it down by the qualifying score, and then try to put you in a division that's competitive based on your qualifying score. So that can't be protested. But within your sessions, this is where I list who is in what session. It is typically it's done by your area first. So it's not by alpha, as you'll see, it's by area. So Porter and St. Joe are both area 1, so that's why they're listed at the front. I'm going to pause on this one just to give you guys an opportunity to see where your county is located so that you know what session you're playing in. And just a reminder, session A, you're playing on Friday afternoon and Saturday morning. And then session B, you're playing Saturday afternoon and Sunday morning. I'm going to give you 5 more seconds. If you do not see your county on this list, I'm hoping that's a typo error, so please just let me know before the call ends so that way I can confirm with you where you are. All right. Substitutions, just a quick note about them. They have to be listed on your alternate roster, and they have to also can only be substituted within between games. Um, you cannot substitute unless of a medical emergency during a game. It's got to be after or in between a game. The next thing that I'm going to say for any game that another team does not show or does not have a full team. So unfortunately, I'm on a team with Susie. Susie gets sick. She's not able to show for our game time. I can still show up at my court and still play that game. A volunteer will jump in and play with me. I'll have to forfeit, so I'll get a participation ribbon, but at least I'm still getting the opportunity to play a competition in a game for that inning, and that way the athlete doesn't lose on an opportunity to play competition that they've been practicing the whole time. We are still going to allow people to play as long as they were on that predetermined schedule and that they're an approved athlete. So they're on that delegation list and they were already scheduled to play. We have volunteers who would be more than willing to jump in. We still want them to get some competition. So just know, because Susie didn't show up, Savannah can still play, so you can still get the opportunity. Website. So the schedule, brackets, session assignments, that was all posted on the website this morning. And I sent an email out to, I hope all of you, so hopefully you got an email from me. But it's going to be under summer games. So you're going to go to Special Olympics Indiana, you're going to go to competitions, summer games, and then scroll down and you're going to see sports offered. And Bocce's perfect, evidently, because it's listed as the very first one. What you'll see with Bocce is under resources is where you're looking. So you're looking for 2026 Bocce session assignments. That's where it's going to tell you if you're in session A or session B. For the court schedule, that's going to be the overall. So it's going to list everything. That's what you see bottom below this, a picture of the first court schedule. And then on bracket session A and session B, that's based on your session assignment is where you should look. So I believe Marshall Stark, I believe you're A. So you're going to look at all the brackets in session A. You don't have to worry about brackets in session B. You're just looking at session A. This is going to show you, so up top we have our court schedule, and on the bottom we have a 14 bracket. So this is Division 102, the 14 bracket. So it's not listed on that court schedule, but what you'll see is Montgomery Park Floyd Wright, a doubles team, is playing Grant County Porter Step on Friday afternoon. It's game 14. It's on court 2 and it's at 1:35 p.m. That's how you would read it. It's that top bracket, part of that bracket. Their other team is playing, the other part of their division is playing on court 3. It's Tippecanoe County Gregory Cater versus Putnam County Smith Smith. They're playing at the same time and one game number more, but it's on a different court. So court 2 and court 3 are playing at the same time for this division. Whoever wins those teams, they're going to the right side of that bracket. So it's going to be game 38, court 2, Friday afternoon, and they're going to play at 2:45. That's when the winners are going to play on court 2. If on that left side is a loser bracket. So if whoever loses those first 2 games is going to play court or game 39, court 3, Friday afternoon, 2:45. Okay, that's a 14 bracket. Everybody's playing 2 games in that one. It's pretty self-sufficient. If you win 2 games, boom, you're at the winner bracket. If you win one and you lose one, but you win your first one, you're going, like, you're moving on silver. So that one's very straight very cut dry. You're going to know who's gold, silver, bronze in 4th place right away. Our next one is a 3-team bracket. So this is Division 100. It's a round robin type division. So Wabash County Fry Wintrode is playing the first game on Friday afternoon at 1 p.m. And then they're going to play their second game against another Wabash County team, game 25, court 1, Friday afternoon at 2:10 p.m. So Fry Wintrode is done after 2:10 p.m. That's when their last game starts, they're done. If they win both of their games, they're going to get a gold because it's a 3-team bracket. If you win one, if you win two, you get both. If they lose both of their games, they're going to get a bronze. Now, if Fry Wintrode wins one and loses one, then they have to wait till that third game to determine whether or not what place they're going to get. Because then we start to look at how your record and then how many points total you scored in both of your games. And then if it's still tied, then we look at how many points were scored against you by the opposing teams. And we subtract that from the points you scored. So that's why those 3-team brackets, sometimes you have to wait till that third game for awards because you're waiting on that last game to see what the record is, or you're looking at what are the total points scored against, for and against. That can be kind of confusing. So if I need to go over it any further than that, just let me know. Next, scheduling. This is just important. I know things happen. I know sometimes it happens where somebody gets injured, so they don't come to summer games. Somebody went too hard at the dance the night before and they're all hyped up on sugar, so they're definitely not able to make it to their 8 o'clock or 8:30 game. That's okay. If you have scratches during summer games, you're going to walk up to the management team and you're going to give it to the management team directly. They will take it from there. You don't have to worry about communicating with me. If there's something that happens before summer games, so before you arrive, that you're walking up, if something happens where you know that there's a scratch, reach out to me and send it to me so I can let our management team know that they don't have to worry about any more prep for that game. It's just easier for us to know it in advance so I can say, hey, management team, Delaware County, Vaughn isn't coming to this game. They will know to scratch it. They can tell the volunteer, hey, we don't have to wait for that team, and you guys can play with the Cass County team against them. It's a little bit just easier for scheduling and logistics, keeps it efficient. The other thing to note, there will be, you can have athletes, chaperones, parents, coaches, whatever. If you don't know a schedule, you don't know when somebody's playing, walk up to the management team and go to the family's binder. That will have an alpha listing of every athlete and competitor that is there, and it'll list their divisions, and we'll be able to place where they're going based on their division, things like that. We can find where they're playing. If you're going to come up to a management team member and ask them, hey, can you help me find where Susie is playing? She's supposed to be playing now. The easiest thing that it's going to help them do it the quickest is their division number. If you have we can still find them with other information, just division number, we can easily flip to that bracket. We can tell you exactly where they're going to play. If you give them the name and you don't know the division number, then we just got to sort through the list, find out what their division number, and then go through it. So if you can, if you're looking for something, just try to at least have the division number on there. And they should be printed on the credentials that are printed with them or that are given to the athletes. The most confusing thing can be those winner-loser games in those 14 brackets sometimes. If like, oh, I won, where do I play? That's where you just would look at the court schedule or the brackets so it can show you exactly. If you know right side winners, left side is loser, that's where you know you can look for it. And management team is more than capable to help you get there too. Just a couple reminders for scheduling. There's a 5-minute grace period. So if games are scheduled at 8:30, you have until 8:35 to get athletes and competitors there. Once it hits 8:36 on, and let me clarify, 8:36 on our volunteer clock. So if it hits 8:36 on your clock, but it didn't hit 8:36 on our volunteer clock, they're going to go by what's on them for consistent basis. If it hits 8:36, it is a scratch, even if they showed up. They can still play even if they show up 10 minutes later, but that game is going to be a forfeit, and you'll play out that one, but there's no way that team who showed up last is going to win. My best recommendation, as much as possible, is to have athletes and unified partners potty before they get to their court, before their game number or their game time, just to keep it efficient. It's harder for an athlete to get to the court, and then we have to wait 5 minutes because they either go to the porta potty on the corner of 4th and Chestnut, or they got to go over to CHHS. It just takes a lot more time, and we don't want to delay the game time as much as possible. The game completes when it's the first to 12 points or 30 minutes. If at 30 minutes, Team A is at 9 points and Team B is at 4, Team A will win because they have 9 points. And that's where we go into the scoring if they're in a 3-team division. Awards, obviously we talked about 3-team brackets are determined by their best record. A tiebreaker will be determined by the points scored in all 3 matches, and then after that, if it's still tied, we'll go into the points against. Physical assistance and modifications. This is crucial. If your athlete needs a modification or an adaptation, you need to send that to me in advance of summer games. No on-site will be requested or will be admitted. So it's got to be beforehand. A modification would be something like, a great example is my athlete has visual impairments. We click two sticks together and it makes a sound right above the polina so that the athlete can throw their bocce ball. That's an adaptation. What I would need is what county you're from, what the modification is, the athlete's full name, and then, if applicable, it's a physical assistant's full name, and that physical assistant has to be a part of your delegation. They cannot be a spectator or a parent just showing up day of saying, I'll be it. It's got to be somebody a part of your county. The one thing to note on here, anything that they use in their normal life, a roller, a wheelchair, not an adaptation. You don't have to worry about that. That is going to be allowed in, ready to go. It's just things that are out of like the normal request of, or an adaptation to a rule that doesn't allow competitive advantage. Like I said, no on-site requests will be allowed. And then another quick reminder for everybody, there will be a boundary outside of all of the courts. It is important that you know that competitors and physical assistants will be the only ones allowed inside the competition area besides volunteers and the management team. As a coach, you can go drop them off at their court, say good luck before game time starts, practice with them if the court is open. But as soon as game time starts, you need to exit the competition area. Following up with that goes into expectations of coaches. You obviously have done a lot to help even just get here in the initial start of it. So I'm very thankful. Thank you for communicating with me, helping me with entries. If you were at an area game, thank you for giving them another opportunity to play. Hopefully, if it didn't get rained out, I was up at area 1. That one, the rain got us. But the most important thing to remember throughout this whole weekend is just like everybody there who is running the events and just like you, they're all volunteers. So when working with any of our management team members, when working with any other coaches, remember that you are all in the same space. We're all on the same team. We're all here because the number one thing is our athletes. So please approach any conversation and any issue with, remember that everybody here is for our athletes, and that's the main goal, that they're there, and that everybody else here is a volunteer who is helping support the event, and mainly also helping support me. I'm very thankful for the team that is there who can lead it while I am running around to all of the other sports that I have as well, and that have the opportunity just to be there and give attention to our athletes or our bocce athletes. So when you are, just please approach anything with respect and patience as we're working through. I always lead with, there's something we can always figure out. So I'll always give you a direct answer. I'll always try to help us out in the most possible way that is fair to all of our athletes, not just one, not just two. So if we're working on something, I'm either going to pull another coach in to say, hey, this is a situation that happened. What's a happy medium that we can figure out? So please, 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 whether you're directing with another coach, whether you're directing with one of our management team members, just approach that conversation with respect and the intention with athletes first. The next thing I'm going to say is, as a coach, this is slightly different than most of our other events because our HODs are not typically on site with us. So your HOD might be a coach for another sport, or your HOD might be at another location watching another sport. With that, you guys are the next people in line to kind of help oversee your spectators, your athletes, your coaches, things like that. It must always, always be that you are responsible for those spectators. I'm always happy to have a difficult conversation if somebody is acting inappropriately or acting disrespectfully. However, I think it comes better from you as people who know those individuals better. So if you please do have somebody in that situation, please direct it with them first. I'm happy to help support if you need it to, but if there is somebody, I'm going to approach them. So please try to approach them first. And then always remember, whatever you are displaying, our athletes and our other spectators think is okay. So in the event that a situation is negative or it's not going well or the way that you think it should, if you are acting disrespectfully, then you are showing your spectators and your athletes that you can act disrespectfully. So please remember, always act with respect. And enforce sportsmanship because that's why we're here. I'm going to do a quick rules review before we go into anything else. Winner first to 12 points or 30 minutes, whichever comes first. And the max amount of points you can score in a frame is 4 points. There is no coaching during competition. I am okay with athlete and unified partner. Now, if you go to World Games and USA Games, that's not allowed. So just note that if you're looking to progress any further than that, there's no coaching whatsoever. With us, I'm okay with athlete and unified partners coaching each other while in play, just not coaches. So at the time, as soon as play starts, coaches need to cease any coaching. All throws have to be underhand. All players will play on one side of the court. So in doubles, each doubles team will throw 2 balls. In 4-team, each team member will throw 1 ball. The order of play is based on which ball is closest to the palina. So teams can choose which sequence. It doesn't matter the order that you play, as long as if I threw the palina, I throw first. That's the most important piece. In the event that my team isn't able to throw the palina within my 3 attempts, the palina will switch over to the other team to deliver the palina. That doesn't mean I lose the chance of my first bocce throw. So whoever won that coin toss or whoever retained the palina based on the previous frame retains the first throw, regardless of whether or not I can deliver the palina. And then after that, it does not matter on who throws what bocce ball as long as we each throw the same amount. And then finally, the coin toss will determine the very first team to throw the first inning. I kind of already went into this with who throws the first ball, but mainly just to remember, you do not lose your throw of the palina if you're unable to deliver in between those 2 guidelines. So you will always you'll always get the first throw of the bocce ball is mainly where that goes. Weather and volunteers. So if there's a hazardous weather or weather that becomes dangerous, announcements will be made to that text alert earlier that was on the screen. We would go to CHHS, the building across 4th Street, which is where Healthy Athletes is. Competition will continue once it's safe, and it will continue wherever the first games or wherever the games are scheduled. So if we end games at 12:30 and we don't pick up until 2:30, we start at whatever games were scheduled at 2:30. We will bring next are tips just to bring coolers for weather. So coolers, lots of water. We will have a cooler on site for any filling up of water bottles. Cold necks for towels if it's super hot. Hat and umbrellas. Sunscreen, canopy, and chairs, obviously. 4 canopies. If you ask for a team camp, you will have one assigned to you. The most important thing is if you leave it overnight, that's your call. We cannot lock the venue up it's a field that has gates on 2 sides. That's it. So if you leave it, that's up to your discretion. I cannot control whether somebody moves it or whether somebody damages it. Volunteers, we're actually just short on Sunday, and we still got about 2 weeks to go. So I'm feeling pretty good about where we are with volunteers. if you're willing to help out and spend a whole nother part of your day over at Mark's Field because you loved it so much, please just go ahead and sign into your COE account and then click the event sign up. All right, I am opening it up for questions, anything like that. Before we do that, real quick, I am going to say for attending this, if you came in late, just a reminder, first and last name, county in the chat. This will get you your attendance and your ability to protest. If you were not to attend this meeting, you do not have the ability to protest. So just an FYI, there is my email and my phone number. The next couple of days, I will be, I just finished, mostly finished scheduling this today, but we will start to move into packing for summer games. So if I don't get back to you right away, it's probably just because I'm either away from my computer or my phone, and I will work on getting as much as possible to you as quickly as I can. All right, I know that we got a couple. Can unified teams be 3 athletes and 1 partner? No, all unified teams have to be 2 of each. You have to have 2 athletes, 2 unified partners. If and when does a bocce ball get counted if beyond the foul line? I'm not. The Polina has to make it into the middle foul line and the furthest. It's got to be on that first throw. If it gets knocked outside of it, that's okay. If a bocce balls were thrown, bocce balls, as long as it was an underhand throw and it was thrown from that initial foul line, it will get counted as a ball in play. Tie game at the end of the game. How many throws and who throws? Are there other tie rules? For a tie game, you'll play 1 more frame and keep going. And then I believe I'm going to have to look up the actual tie rules to get it to you. So let me follow up with that as we're going. Deanna, that is okay. That you are the athlete's assistant. You just need to send it into an email. And then Linda, I see your hand up. So while I'm looking, go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, thank you very much. Again, I can't chat. Typically, shot put is on Sunday morning. Is that still the case? Because this year I see cast is on that B schedule, and we have, I think, about 6 athletes that do shot also.
Yep. So I don't know. I don't think that they've had a ton of changes. So if that's the case, then you'll have to tell your athletes to choose if the schedules are overlapped. Oh, Brittany. Will there be flags by the Polina? Last year, most volunteers didn't use them when our individuals placed. We will still have, I will still pack flags in the event, and I'm going to go into this, in the event that your athlete has a question on scoring or wants a flag to be used, all you have to do is ask. Our management team will make sure that that happens. So even if an athlete's like, hey, I think that's closer, we're advising our volunteers as much as possible. If there's at any point you are in question or there is a question, you measure. When in doubt, we just measure. So if you're like, hey, I would like to be measured, just ask them to measure. Tell your competitors, hey, you can always ask for a measure if you feel uncertain about something. They will go and measure. And the same thing with the flags. If they're not using the flags, could you say, hey, I'm having difficulty seeing the flag or the Polina. Could you please use the flag to help me notify? That's easily, I will tell, Rachel's on the call as well. So we'll use this as part of our training to assist as like what a request would be. Roger, do athletes have to alternate or can athletes throw 2 turns in a row? Roger, athletes can throw whatever order they want. So if Savannah and Pat are on a team and I threw the Polina, I just have to be the first one to throw my bocce ball. After that, Pat could throw 2 of her balls and I could throw my last one, or I could throw both of my balls right away and then Pat throws her 2. After the initial Polina thrown and the first bocce ball thrown, order doesn't matter. Brittany, so we don't need to send you info on athletes that need it. No. Brittany, no, you do not.
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
Kathy with Jackson County. I know when there's competition and the coaches want them to measure the amount of distance because you feel that it's closer than what they said. are us as coaches allowed to get close to the competition area to let them know to measure?
You can be right outside. You can be outside of the coach. I would actually request that a competitor does it because they are the ones on the court, just to facilitate a little bit more play through them instead of as little as coach as much as possible. In the event that leads into another good point. Our volunteers are people probably who have never played bocce before in their life and they learned it the day of. So in
Yeah.
the event that you're like, I am questioning whether they're doing it right, I'm questioning whether or not they're measuring at the correct time, don't hesitate to go up to a management team member and just say, hey, I have a question. Can you just go and monitor court one? No, you're not telling on them. You're just saying, I think they might go in a respectful way of just saying, I think they might be doing it wrong, but could you just come over and watch a couple and then tell me yes or no with whether or not they're doing it right. Rachel, Mackenzie, Sam, Rebecca, Zach, they will all go over and watch. There's no problem to do that and re-verify that they've got it trained right. All understanding that they've all either probably most likely have been trained that morning or right before that session. So granted, nobody's perfect with it. So please don't hesitate just to ask for verification that they're measuring it correctly.
Thank you very much for that.
I will say too is please check out, like, if you're gonna ask for verification or you're gonna do something like where you need help or you want to verify something, do that in advance. Don't do that after the game is finished. Go while it's happening so we can correct it in turn. It's harder for us to retroactively fix something. Jennifer, I have an athlete who's in Unified at 8:30 and Saturday, and then a team on 9:05. Will this give an athlete enough time? So games go every 30 minutes. So we schedule so there's a 5 minute in between each two. You should have enough time, Jennifer. I try as much as possible not to do it. It just makes it a little bit harder when we have to split into sessions for all of that. So you should have enough time to bump over. And if we know that your athlete is playing on a different court, we will wait for them. Any other questions? Oh, I am going to go to the tie. I apologize. I looked that up and then I stopped. So for ties, what we will do is, where did it go? Okay. In the event that the two closest balls to the plenum belong to the opposing teams and are tied, no points will be awarded. And in the next frame, the plenum will return to the team which delivered in the previous. So that's a tie during the frame. At the end of it, it's going to go into, we're going to play frames until we call it from there. So you'll continue to play bocce, like a frame, each time until somebody scores. Dave, you have a question on 3-team bracket score and differential? I'm not sure, Dave, if that's what you're going for, but I'll go over it in case that is. And I'm gonna pop back onto the sharing the screen real quick. I do see that the question is up. We'll get to it after Dave real quick. And Dave, you'll let me know if it's not what you were looking for. So for a 3-team bracket, in this situation, if we see a Division 100, so on the top court schedule, we have Wabash County, Fry, Wintrode, Putnam County, Althouse, Langley. Let's say they play, and for that score, Wabash County, Fry, Wintrode gets 12 points, so they win theirs. And Putnam County, Althouse, Langley, they get 4 points. We then go into game 2. Wabash County, Crider, LaRoe gets, we're going to say 12 points. And then Wabash County, Fry, Wintrode gets, we're going to say 4 points again. So far 12-4, 12-4 were those two first games. Now we're going to look at Putnam County, and Putnam County is going to get 4 points again, okay? So they lose. Actually, no. Putnam County is going to get 12 points. They're going to win. And then Wabash, Kreider, LaRoe is going to get 8 points. So if we look at this situation, Wabash County, everybody won one game. So right now, our records are 1-1 for each team. So there's no way for us to determine who gets gold, silver, and bronze at this point. What we do now is we look at the score differential. So how many points did each team score in both of their games? So Wabash County Fry Wintrode, in their first game, they scored 12 points, and then they scored 4 points. That's a total of 16 points. For Putnam County Altos Langley, they scored 4 points, and then they scored 12 points again. Once again, 16 points. The next one is Putnam or Wabash Kreider LaRoe. And hold on. Make sure I got this right. Yes. All right. Wabash County Kreider LaRoe. They scored 12 points and then they scored 8 points. So they got a total of 20. Right now, Wabash Fry Winthrop, our first team, 12 or 16 total points scored for them. Our second team, Putnam County Altos Langley, still 16 points as well. 16 points total score. Our last team is Wabash County Kreider LaRoe. They have a total of 20 points scored. So our first team, our gold place scoring team, is our third team, which is Wabash County Kreider LaRoe. They have 20 points they total scored. When we look now, we still have a tie for those other two teams. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at how many total points were scored against each of those teams. So Wabash County Fry Wintrobe, when they played Putnam County Altos Langley, they had 4 points totaled against them in their first game. In their second game, Wabash County Kreider, they had 12 points scored against them. So that's a total of 16. So they had 16 points for them, and then they had 16 points against. The next team is Putnam County Altos. So they had 12 points originally scored against their first game, and then they had 8 points scored against their second. So that is a total of 20 points scored against them. So Wabash County Fry Wintrobe, because they only had 16 scored against them, they would be second because the other team had 20 points scored against them. So first we look at how many points did you score? Then we look at how many points were scored against you, and that's how we place the final order. Dave, did that answer your question? Okay, good. All right, last year we had 2 cases where in the award tent, the scores were given to the wrong team as both team shirts were the same color. How should we as coach? Great question, Anne. I'm glad you brought it up. That's such a good question. In that situation, we're going to do our best as much as possible to try and catch it. One of the ways that we've gone about this is predetermining bocce ball colors so that this team we know on this side is yellow. Granted, volunteers still get confused. It can be, I understand it. In that event, if that's the case, bring it up to our management team. So the awards team won't have any of the records. They won't be able to look at any of the things. So don't bring it up to them. Just necessarily, you can just say, hey, I think that's wrong. I'm going to go to the management team to confirm it. And then we'll work on it from there. You'll work with Rachel, Mackenzie, Sam, Rebecca, and Zach to figure out what the correct order is. And by that time, it might even, most often it is, Anne, what you mentioned, same shirt color. They look the same, like they got confused on the team names or they flipped how the scores were read. That's okay. It's an easy fix for us to figure out. I would just let them know if you do see that, hey, I think it go directly to the management team to figure it out. Okay. I knew that there was somebody had their hand raised. Was the question answered or do we need? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted one more clarification. I think maybe I didn't ask the right question initially
Okay.
about the Polina. If it is knocked past the extended foul line and during play and
Yeah.
it's active play, are the bocce balls scored even if the Polina is into the foul area?
Yep. So as long as the Polina was originally delivered within the two foul lines, that is
Yes,
considered a valid Polina. If it gets knocked and either hit, moved, a bocce ball moves it, it is still in play regardless of where it lands, as long as it's not outside of the bocce court. If it
got
gets
it.
knocked past the furthest bocce, it's still in play. You're still counting, trying to get your balls to reach the Polina as much as possible.
Got
The
it.
Polina is never knocked out of play if it
But
was
you-
delivered correctly, unless it's out of bounds.
But you count all the balls.
So all the balls then are active play then, even if the Polina is, it's in the foul area and they're all in the field.
Yes.
They're still active counts.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, thank you for the clarity.
Yep.
That's a,
All right. Any other questions? Oh, go ahead.
So sorry, I had one more. Last year we had somebody leave the play area during mid-game. How do we handle that? And it was not our team member, it was the opposite team. They left the play area.
That one, that is why I highly request and would motivate all of you to just make sure that your athletes use the restroom or any other issues beforehand. If it's a medical emergency, obviously we're going to handle that at the time being. There's nothing that we wouldn't want to do anything in that time being besides handle the medical emergency. But please just try to communicate to your athletes, your competitors, that they need to go potty before. And then I would say anything from there could go into delay of game, which is when we'd have to start. The management team would take a look if it's in bad request or if we need to have a conversation further from that.
Okay, thank
do
you.
we need,
So we would need to address it directly with the management team if we think it needs to be looked at.
Yes, correct. And I think
Thank
our
you.
volunteers will also kind of do it. They can do a good job of evaluating whether or not it's a bathroom break on purpose or something like that. I would
Okay.
say sometimes you can't help it. You could have just gone
Yeah.
potty beforehand.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
emergencies happen. Yeah, I get
Yeah.
that. Yeah. But we just wanted clarity because that did cause play delay last year.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Unless anybody has any other questions, I am gonna note on two things real quick. Division 305 and 119. Those are two divisions that I had to make slight edits to. They didn't change a ton, just an FYI for some of those counties. And I'm gonna pull it up really quick so I can I can communicate those to the counties that were affected. And mainly it was Montgomery Park. You'll have a new player for your Division 119, Friday, 1 p.m. Instead of playing the St. Joe County R. Manning Hensel, you will be playing Marion County West Meyer State. And that also St. Joe, just a heads up, you are that game 19. And I will send it to all of the counties, but Division 119 had a correction, and then Division 305 had a correction as well. So if you are a part of either of those divisions, 305, it's Johnson, Wabash, and BBJ. And 119 is St. Joe, Grant, in Montgomery Park. Those are the ones affected. Really, the only person affected in the 119 is the Montgomery Park and then St. Joe. And then in the traditional team, it is just the Johnson and the BBJ people. But those are the teams that have a slight change. I will send PDFs, if not today, then tomorrow, with updated times. And mainly it's just an updated court number with where you're playing. But if any of you have any issues or see something on a court schedule or a bracket that you're like, hey, red flag, not checking out, please just send me an email. I'm happy to review it. Usually it's a quick little, it's probably a typo, hopefully, and shouldn't be anything from there. But if you do, just send me an email and I'm happy to send over an updated bracket for that one. Andy, was there Division 216? I think that's the one you sent and with your court schedule, Andy. Yes, and I just left it off of the court schedule. Forgot to put you guys in there, but you were on the bracket, so you were good. And then if no other questions, Rachel, anything else to add?
Yes, I did have
Our
things to add.
lovely fearless leader, Rachel.
I wanted to echo what Savannah said about hydrating your athletes. Please, please, please. That's something that tends to cause delays a lot, is that they are overheated and going to the bathrooms before. Um, the other thing is, the two things I think that require the most of our time and attention as the management team um, are people not knowing, athletes not knowing where they're supposed to play. So, if at all possible, if you can make sure that their caregivers or their assistants or whatever have that information. We actually have one new management team member, but two less management team members overall. And that sometimes just takes a whole person, is helping people look those up. So if at all possible, please make sure your athletes know where they are going. And then again, the worst thing is an athlete needing an assistant or thinking that they need an assistant, and if they are not registered, we cannot let them go into the competition area. And that probably causes us and families the most distress. So please, please, please make sure they're registered. That's all you have to do, is just get them registered, and then they can be in the competition area. The other thing is, they do not need to check in at the management tent. They just need to check in at their court on time for their game. So no need to check in at the management tent before.
Great clarifications. That's always a good, helpful hint for no checking in. I know a lot of people get confused and like, hey, check it. Not needed for this one. And another good point to also just say, it does, with additions and subtractions of team members, always easy to kind of get looped in for all the things. So the more helpful, the better.
I just have one more question. Where do we go again to check the names and the brackets and the times?
That is the families binder at the management team tent.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And I would say too, probably to help Rachel with that timing, you may not know going in like, oh, where do they play? At least know the game time that you should be confused about, so that way you can go in advance. So maybe while the game before is playing, you show up 15 to be like, all right, I can confirm I'm going to this court schedule.
Okay. But there's something online as coaches, there's something online that we can go to print out the brackets and the stuff.
Yes. Summer,
Okay.
go to Special Olympics Indiana,
Uh-huh.
competitions, summer games, scroll down, sports offered, bocce's where the party's at. Y'all invited.
Thank you.
I will say, the athletes that show up and on the back of their credentials, it'll say their time, what court they're playing on, and then win what court they play on, lose what court they play on. That makes it really easy for us to be able to help them.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, last call for questions. If you were late to add, don't forget first, last name, county that you're from into the chat. If
Savannah,
not, go ahead.
I'm sorry, excuse me. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
Nope.
are you sending out the slides tonight with your follow-up information?
Yep. So I copied all of the coaches that were listed on our registration packet for Bocce. I will follow up tomorrow with a recording. Once our marketing team can put it on YouTube, I will follow up with a recording. I tried to do the slides last time. I don't know if that worked for the preseason, so you'll have to let me know if it did not work. I'm going to try to attach them again. If not, I'll try to figure something else out. Okay. If there's no more questions, go enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night. Thank you so much for hopping on, spending a part of your Wednesday with me. And I can't thank you enough, seriously, for all of the effort that you guys do to make this possible. Very appreciative. Thank you for having good communication with me, for preparing our athletes. And I wish you all good luck and a really fun, relaxing summer games.
Thank you.